Welcome to Week in Review. I'm Larry Tomczak, and it is a privilege, and honestly, I love this, imparting to you an analysis like Sons of Issachar, what is happening so we understand the times and we know what to do. You know, we're at a 6-month period right now with this Biden administration, and let's be honest today in looking back over the past weeks and months and also looking forward, because this administration is doing lots of harm, and I'm not sure Mr. Biden fully understands what's going on. You know, I was a Beatles fan. I played in a band called the Lost Souls in Cleveland, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And there was a song the Beatles did. Maybe you remember it, Nowhere Man. I think this song describes Mr. Biden. Look on the screen. It says, he's a real nowhere man sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody, doesn't have a point of view, and knows not where he's going to. You know, I think that's him. And let's really take an honest look at what's going on. And I'm going to cite 4 areas that I believe are harming you, your family, and our nation. The first area this administration is harming us, and I mean doing harm, is this, in the area of moral decline and corruption. They're putting forth the H.R. 1 and H.R. 5. They've passed in the House because they have the majority there. And the first one has to do with what? Fair elections and new ways to somehow avoid restrictions on elections. Well, the Supreme Court recently ruled 2 of the things that they said were suppressing voters. You know what? They were unconstitutional. They threw them out. Well, then they also have tried, and they're pushing H.R. 5, which is what they call the Equality Act. It's actually an act that would be promoting sexual, anarchy in this land. And the LGBTQ agenda pushed through, propagandized in the schools, and this would undermine and really deal a death blow to religious freedom and freedom of speech in Christian churches and ministries. It's horrible. We're involved in a campaign to raise, and you know, you've probably heard H.R. 5, stopping it. It's on the screen. You can send postcards to tell our senators and the Supreme Court justices and the Biden White House, no, we don't want anything to do with this. You know, the Black Lives Matter, their movement, they're pushing certain things. And one of the things that the Biden administration will be behind and push is not only the CRT, the critical race theory in the military and in all the schools, but also what they call reparations, that we should be paying money to black men and women because of what happened in 4 generations ago. Look on the screen. This is what the Bible, I think, teaches about reparations. It says that the soul who sins is the one who will die. The son will not, notice that, will not share the guilt of the father, nor will the father share the guilt of the son. Look at this, the righteousness of the righteous man will be credited to him, and the wickedness of the wicked will be charged against him. So you take responsibility. And so right now, what's being pushed, and then you also have in terms of LGBTQ, and it spills over. Recently, the NFL put forth, maybe you saw this, a 30-second promotional video, and it was called Football is Gay. Can you believe this, teaching our children and the nation? And it said, football is gay, with cheering in the background subtly. And it said, you know, lesbians are gay, is gay. And transgender is football. And queer is football. Everything that the Bible would say is shameful and immoral is being touted. And this is really a reflection of what's going on with an administration promoting moral depravity and abortion, 61 million babies, and saying we should pay for it. This is harmful, and it's part of this administration. The second harm that is coming to us from this Biden administration, and we have to be aware of it, is what's going on with immigration. This is very dangerous. We're now having about 200,000 illegal immigrants coming across the border. Now, these are people's lives, and they're being shattered. You have kidnapping, you have all kinds of evil and drugs. And you know, and I'm not saying that all the immigrants are bringing the drugs, they're not. But because there's this surge and avalanche, the Border Patrol can only attend and really deal with about 20% of the avalanche of people coming across the border. So that leaves about 80% free. Mr. Trump and his administration had control and security and sovereignty. Biden came in, threw it all out the windows. No wall, we're not going to do it. And as a result, we're seeing drugs surging into this country. Organized crime, like mafia, is working. And so the drugs are brought in, criminal activity, and then what happens is that's distributed into the cities, and that's where the gangs and the violence, who's the ones, when you think about it, that causes crime? In these cities, primarily gangs. And when people are addicted to drugs, then what do? They'll do whatever they have to do, and they'll break the laws. So this is very dangerous. It's harming lives. It's a humanitarian crisis. And it's all because the root cause, Mr. Biden says, open borders, come on in, we'll take care of your medical. It's got to be stopped. The third area that is dangerous, and it's a reflection also on this administration and a spillover from what's going on at the border, is the crime wave in cities. What's taking place? Are you aware of the crime wave in cities? I'm going to put on the screen and you can follow me. Look at this. Here's what's happening now in progressive left-controlled cities. Have you seen this? Number one, you can see in Portland. Look at this. Murders are up 800,000% in 1 year. Chicago, look at this, 7 murders and 45 shot over the weekend. In LA, 95% up in murders since last year. San Francisco, 100% up. New York City, shootings up 73%. Philadelphia, 38% homicide increase. Baltimore, 57 in 50 days. I mean, this is mind-boggling. In DC, homicides up 25%. In Minnesota, 56%. And then in Seattle, the highest homicide rate in 26 years. This is dangerous, folks, and this is what's going on. You say, well, Mr. Biden just a week ago got on TV and he said, we've got to stop this crime wave. And what was his solution? Primarily, we're going to get to the gun dealers. The gun dealers are not the ones that are going to stop. Do you realize we have 400 million guns in America? And criminals don't go to register and everything with gun dealers. Where is the murder and the crime in that? Well, the white supremacist argument. And Mr. Biden says that's the major problem, global warming and white supremacist and systemic racism. But you know what? Think about this in terms of shootings and crimes with black Americans, and we're saying, oh, it's white, shooting them down and cutting them down in the street. That's not true. That's a big lie. There were, in the last 2 years, 16,000 black men and women that were killed. They were murdered. 16,000. Do you know that 89% was black on black? See, Black Lives Matters and others, they're not speaking out on that one, but they'll blame the police and they'll promote this. Now, when you have 16,000 and you've got almost 90% black on black crime, do you know that convicted murders right now in America is 40% black? And the population is only 13% black. You say that's disproportionate. How is this happening? Well, I'm not faulting in any negative way. I'm just saying these are the facts, and we've got to recognize the root cause primarily is a breakdown in morals. And what do you have? 70% of the young blacks, they have no dads. And so they're unsupervised. And when you're in a home with a mother, a grandmother saying, come in at this time, whatever, and then they get involved in drug distribution, there's shootings, that's what's taking place in these cities. And so the Biden administration is really missing the mark, as of course, Mr. Biden. Now, the fourth thing that's happening to harm us in America is what's going on with the economy. Do you know that inflation is now the highest in 30 years? You say, well, I don't really feel it. Well, you will. Why? Because the XL pipeline, do you remember? First act of Mr. Biden coming into office, shut it down. Well, as a result, 11,000 jobs were stopped. 380,000 barrels of oil coming into America was stopped. He okayed a waiver for Putin in Russia with a pipeline, but no, we can't have it here. We're going to go Green New Deal. Well, what has been the result? Well, the gas companies see what's happening. They stockpile, and then as a result, they have to raise their prices for distribution. Then the food markets, the supermarkets raise their prices, and that is why, take a look at it, you can see groceries and gas, and you can see home building, all of it. And with the stimulus checks, we're getting a little bit of a breather. But come the fall, And this is a reflection on the Biden administration. Whether you liked his personality or not, Yes, Trump was a genius in the economic realm. Mr. Biden doesn't seem to know what's really going on. So we're living in a very serious time, and it's right to assess what's going on with an administration and then determine what are we going to do going forward. I believe the time is now for us to be in deep prayer, to be engaged, to get involved in school boards and with churches for pastors to speak up and to raise really policies and positions and a platform that is destructive, harmful to you, your children, your grandchildren, to our nation. It's not a time for passivity. It's a time to blow the whistle, blow the shofar and say, it's time to wake up. Now is the time.